name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now I had a spare morning, so I thought I would do one of my Sun with Moon rising combinations. So as you can see in the title down below, Taurus Sun with Cancer Moon or Rising. This is your lucky day. Here is your general reading. Now, it is a general reading, so general reading rules apply. If someone else appears in the reading, I can get you and them mixed up because I'm seeing energies and actions. At least that's what I'm told. And there has been, as much as I don't like the idea, there has been the odd occasion where that's possible, but I tend to point it out. Also, timing is far from absolute. I'm uploading this, what are we in, July. It's an as and when you find it and as and when it's useful for you. But also, there's always a chance that it's not for you. So there's a past and a present in this spread. If the past and the present do not fit, don't try and make it fit. Just move on and have a look at another reading for your, your sun or your moon or your rising. I do monthly readings, so it's well worth looking at those, and new moon and full moon readings, and an astrology show with an astrologer for each lunation. But anyway, I digress. This is also an example of what I call my 6-deck reading. If you want to contact me for a personal reading, there's a link in the description for the Facebook page for this channel. Now, this has got its own inbox, so that's the best way to get me, but there's a link tree down there, so it'll send you to my email or my Tumblr or the 101 things. But the Facebook, if you are a Facebook user, and I don't blame you if you're not, but if you are, that's the best way to contact you. Now, the other thing I'd like to say is ask a question prior to the reading. You don't have to, but I think you might get more out of it. And you also may be able to use it more than once, because the words, I always give my clients a recording of the reading, because I know that 3, 4, 5 months down the road, my words will have completely different meanings then than what they do right now. So you can always come back to this with a fresh question, but I'd give it plenty of time, to be honest, if you're going to do that. So take a moment, think about all the questions that are around you, concentrate on one of them, but be aware of all of them because the cards will answer what they want. And bear in mind that it's a general reading. The question I'm having in my head is pretty much, what do Taurus Sun, Cancer Moon or Risings need to know? Simple as that. And if that's enough for you, then carry on watching. Now, obviously, I'm a YouTuber. Please hit that like button. And while you're passing, if you like what I do, press subscribe. And then theoretically, YouTube may tell you when I upload another one, or join the Facebook page, and then you get to learn about it that way. If Facebook deigns to tell you that I've posted as well. But hey ho, we are all at the mercy of algorithms at the moment. On that really cheerful note, I think that's all my housekeeping. But I've got to give enough time for the shuffle video with this, because there's a lot of shuffling with 6 decks. So one last thing is, if you do want a 6-deck reading for me, be prepared to set aside 2 to 2.5 hours. Because I won't start shuffling until I can hear the sound of your voice. And therefore it can take some time. But yeah, it's all the details are on the Facebook page or in the description down below. Get in touch if you want one. That must be enough for that shuffle video to, like, it's probably on 8 speed or something. But let me bring up the cards, because I've talked for long enough and that's nearly 4 minutes. So one thing that strikes me here immediately, these here are the decks, so you get to see the bottom of the decks, and there's quite a lot of 9 of Cups. We have underlying your situation right now, what can't necessarily be seen, in fact, that you are more than likely blind to with the 2 of Swords at the top here. There is that 9 of Cups wish fulfillment energy. We have 9 of Cups on the bottom of the 3rd deck, and again on the bottom of the 5th deck. So there's this wish fulfillment energy going on. We have, now this is an interesting one, from the Energy Oracle, we have the door to value, and then financial constraints. Now, they seem opposite to one another, but this is saying that something that you are sticking with is well worth continuing. The doorway to the value of this is going to open. In the meantime, you have the financial constraints to deal with. In fact, let me just read from the book for that door to value. Right. All of this points to the potential for exciting new beginnings or expansions where work or money are concerned. Perhaps a new opportunity is totally unexpected, or perhaps it's something you've been working towards for quite a while. You've been working towards it. 10 of Wands here in the very recent past. Know that anything that you value may open to you now. Remain conscious and creative and get ready to step through the door. That door is also represented by here, a new start is coming. We have the Ace of Wands on the bottom of the fourth deck. We have you believing in the value of something. King of Wands on top of the first deck, bottom, sorry. Six of Pentacles straight after, so that you have whittled something down and made decisions that have ended you in a place where you go, this means something to me. And therefore you are setting off on your own trek to create whatever this is, whatever this thing is that you're committed to, because you are committed to it. You are committed to heading to a better place. You are wanting personal transformation, which is interesting because I want to point out that that personal transformation has already started. You are in the process of that if it hasn't already finished. Now, I would say it's probably still ongoing, because on the bottom of the sixth deck, this is the in-between tarot, and we have the card Judgment to the World. So this is in the space between the Judgment and the World card, and it's pretty much talking about tying up loose ends, but tying up loose ends in the wake of the resurrection, or in the wake of the transformation that you have gone through. You are very much being led by your intuition. There's certain aspects within your direction now where you have listened both to your driving force and to your intuition and have managed to synthesize the two, or at least you are in the process right now of synthesizing the two, because with the how you feel, we have what I would call the most important divine pairing or divine coupling or divine counterparts, whatever you want to call it, in the tarot deck possible. We have the Magician and the Priestess. I mean, to a point, this is the card in between the Magician and the Priestess. So it is bringing those two forces together, bringing the power of that Ace of Wands to move forward, even if right now things are a bit tight. Things are, let's face it, the money isn't good right now, but this is the sacrifice that you have agreed to pay. This is the sacrifice that you've decided has value because of where it's going to take you. And that's just on first glance. But I really, really like this. We have the Magnetism card, which talks about don't follow the herd right now. You've got a plan in your mind. You go with that. You will draw towards you, or are drawing towards you, the things necessary for that plan. And you need to, High Priestess of Fire, you need to use your energy creatively and step by step, which is another aspect of this Two of Swords that you're in at the moment. Oh, look, and Judgment straight underneath that. So yes, that transformation is definitely still going on. And the fact that there's things that you're not aware of, I don't mind. I don't think that that's a bad thing, because I think those things that you are not aware of are in your interest, are going to support you here. And it may be some time before they are revealed, before this doorway to value opens. Now, this High Priestess of Fire talks about don't burn yourself out. You've got wonderful energy, as we've seen by that Ace of Wands, but use it creatively. Do not burn yourself out. It's very, very easy to push too much energy into something that to a point is overwhelming, and you need to concentrate on it is one thing, but you need to, it's more important just to be in that space, or even more, be you in that space of whatever it is that you are trying to bring about. We have Habuhia here with healing. So this sacrifice, this the fact that the money isn't great, is working well for you. I know when the bills come through the letterbox, you may be questioning that, but it's honing you into being something a lot more successful. So it's almost like you are honing certain skills, or just laying the groundwork for what it is that you're wanting to do, which is something that needs a lot of knowledge. There was a page of wands somewhere in these piles that I was talking about, and there's also Hermes here with journey, but I'm really led to the idea of the, well, yeah, Hermes Trismegistus, the Hermetic tradition, all of that sort of thing, where there's the exploration and information coming to you, because Hermes, Mercury, rules information. That's why we all dread the Mercury retrogrades when they happen. So, the other thing I wanted to point out, I love the symmetry of these cards. This daughter value is card number 31, financial constraints, cards number 13, which to me is indicating that there will be a reversal of fortunes. And hopefully that's in terms of money, and the reversal of fortunes is things going well. At least that's how I'm reading it, that things are going well, because all of these Nine of Cups, we've got the Sun card on topping the pile that you're heading into, what I call the happy, happy, joy, joy card. Yes, because I am of the Ren and Stimpy generation. Right, let's have a look. What's going on for you at the moment? So, impatience. We have from the in-between tarot, the Hanged Man to the Death card. So it's almost like there's a feeling of, I'm committed to this, but why isn't it working? And that's because I don't think you can see how it is working. You know that there's a burden that you've been putting on, and that you've been taking on, sorry, by doing this. And it has indeed been a balancing act. I feel that there's an influence around you that keeps pointing out, yes, it's all right you doing all this, but we still need to eat. We still need to pay the bills, that sort of influence around you. And they're not wrong. But devote as much time as you can to this plan that you are working on, to this project that you are ready to launch, to this earning qualifications for a new career, whatever it is. Because it is, by the looks of all this, it is going to pay off. I really like that on this Oracle of Heaven and Hell, the Goetic spirit on the bottom of the card is Belial. Now, Belial is a great one for teaching about self-mastery. You know, people who have written about working with Belial in his Goetic form will talk about how he can get you to push certain boundaries of your life, and other ones, rein them in a bit. You know, Belial will be like, yeah, you're going too far. You know, bring it back in. Try a little bit of, I don't know, try a little bit more decorum. Try a little bit more prudishness. Are you sure you're respecting yourself by doing this? So there's that self-mastery and self-respect element. You don't have to agree with a Belial, But what he will do is present these questions to you so that you can analyze your actions. And right now, I think that you are having to concentrate on that burden to create that wish fulfillment. And if you didn't realize that it was a wish fulfillment, then, well, to be honest, you're very nearly there. You are creating the structure ready to, well, for that door to value to open. Let's, rather than try and create new words for it. You are very, very nearly there. Yes, it has taken a bit of a toll, a bit of a cost to get where you are right now, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. And depending on what that cost is, you may be balking at the idea of what I've just said, but hey, you came this far. You have not got that far to go, because there is an element where you are very much defining your own empire, defining your own field of expertise. You're defining, I don't want to say you're not deciding what hill you're going to die on. That's the wrong phrase, but you are claiming a hill. You are definitely going, my hill, this is where I do my stuff. This is where I say my thing. This is, if you want my expertise, this is the hill that you need to come to. Because there is stuff heading your way. 3 of Wands. So we've got movement, and we've also got the idea of the ships coming back. However, that may be obscured slightly by some form of closer to home argument. Now this could be all sorts of things. This could be a family thing going on, or this could be somebody discussing licenses, or what was the other thing I just thought of? License import issues. There's all sorts of different things, but I want to say that I don't think that the importing of stuff wherever you are is essential to what you are doing, because what you are creating, what you are using, is your skill. However, I think the import of things may well make things easier. And so you can expect some form of delay, but not a huge form of delay, because there is definitely things are going to take an upturn. We have, for these 4 piles, well, let me put the 4th one back. These 4 piles, they represent like the movements of the planets. They represent energetic tones, or lessons that you are going to go through, or have gone through. So we start with the Lovers. We're making the choice and coming together with something. We'll explore that more in a minute. Wheel of Fortune, followed by the Empress. So whatever that argument that is helping delay things, and I don't think you necessarily know much about this argument because it's in the hidden row, the underneath row, as I call it. So it's not as if you actually know about it. You just know, oh, there's a dispute and it's holding this up. You don't know the ins and outs of the dispute. You don't know the personalities of the dispute. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't, it doesn't affect you. All that affects you is that the dispute is happening, and that's what's been slowing things down. That is going to change. Wheel of Fortune and the Empress. So good fortune that brings abundance and happens fast, enabling you to level up and progress even further towards the commitment that you are wanting to get to. 3 to the 4 of Wands here, which leads you to that happy, happy, joy, joy card I was talking about, the Sun. So whatever you are working with right now, whatever you have been sacrificing for, there is going to come a point where it all comes together. Really, that's what I want to say with this, that it all comes together, because it's about time, considering how it very, very nearly didn't, because of decisions that were taken. There was some form of loss that you experienced, or no, not that you experienced, that you learned about. So I'm not saying that it's like a personal loss that's in your face, that there is something of yours, person or thing or object or opportunity that was there and has been stolen away. It's like a decision has been taken elsewhere which robbed you of the potentiality of doing A, B, or C. And that really caused you to, well, I will say redefine, because this one's the Prisma Visions Tarot, and it's the Devil card. So I will, in a moment, clarify it with my Demon Possessed Tarot. But I call this card my Red Forest card. Now, if you ever watched the TV series, the 12 Monkeys, then you know very well that the Red Forest is sort of an amalgamation of all those treasured moments that never changes. And it's like the absence of entropy, the absence of evolution, progression, what have you. And it sort of touches all times, contains them all, and is nothing as well. And when reality is got rid of, that's all that's supposedly left, which in a way is hell and in a way is heaven, depending on how you want your point of view of looking at it. But it's very much about redefining this very structure of things around you, that when you have that, in reaction to this decision that has robbed you of something, it's caused you to redefine the empire that you are trying to build and manifest. And it made you realize who or what else you had to work with. Ace to the Two of Cups here, which is, I'm seeing that as a positive thing. It's almost like your dream got better. You was going to go one way, and because you was going to go that way, when this decision was made, you couldn't go that way anymore. It was like, all right, okay, well, now what do I do? And then, bear in mind, you're in the middle of this transformation period anyway. And as you figured it out, it's like, actually, I can go this way. And you know what? That's actually better. That's better. It's more me. It's more suited to my personality or my skills or my resources or all of them, however you want to look at it there. Let's just clarify that Devil card. If I can do it without knocking the entire table for 6. It's the problem with the 6-deck reading. The table gets a little bit crowded. My coffee cup is just perched on the edge there. Okay, that one then. And we have the 10 of Pentacles, indicating that this decision, although it first appeared as if it's against your interests, what it has done is knocked you onto a better train line, a better channel, a better track to achieve what you wanted to do, and you're going to end up making something better. Right, back to this happy, happy, joy, joy, because you already know the past, you've been there. Let's have a look at the future. So, now this is interesting, because it's a bit double-edged. You've got both the Sun, I get it, and the Three of Swords in this pile. So, things are going to blossom, going to bloom, going to get better. You will be productive, and you will have a greater clarity of how and why you are doing what it is that you are doing. And it is mastering some form of pain or heartache. That's the thing. I mean, I don't. We all know the Three of Swords is like one of the most awful cards in the deck, because it's that pain that will not go away, whether it's due to relationships or betrayal or grief or things going wrong, whatever. But this feels very much with, also with a Queen of Wands and that Ace of Swords, the clarity coming in, like it's mastering. And the word, the phrase that keeps coming into my mind is that it's tending to a pain. Not as in it's leaning towards, but as in it's dealing with, it's enabling some form of healing. Now, whether that's a personal thing or whether that's your product, it could be either. It could definitely be, well, it could definitely be either. But I'm drawn to Habuhia here again, with the phrase representing astrologically healing. So this transformation, you're either sorting out your own personal pain or you're sorting out other people's as your product, or as I want to say, the side effect of what it is that you are doing. So it is not it's like a happy incidental result. It's not necessarily the result that you was after, but bonus. There's a mastering of feelings going on here, where you are able to see how this can expand. But interestingly, we have the Temperance to the Devil card here. Which indicates, it's almost like while you've been going through this transformation period, you've had the angelic protection, spirit walking with you, all of that sort of stuff. But this is where you put on your adult pants. This is where it's not that protection is removed, but that whatever it is stands back and says, right, you're ready. See that big wide world? Off you go. A bit the idea like when kids leave home for the first time. That sort of idea, go out into the world and fend for yourself, basically. But I will get this little booklet to see what it says about Temperance to the Devil. Now, it indicates straying from the right path in here, and I don't think with all these other cards that's right. Don't let pain dictate your behavior is probably a warning that's in there with that Three of Swords and then this card. Because they're always with the presence of the moon there, there's that chance of not seeing things quite as clearly as they could be, which is weird because you have clarity about all the good stuff, but an element of mystery and illusion about the less than good stuff. So maybe be aware that enjoy the good things, but be aware that there is bad there as well, because you need that balanced approach, because there is something that you are going to have to set into motion. It's because underneath all of this, there's still that sense of loss and that sense of, well, it's gone from a conflict or an argument to more of a sort of larger scale debate. So, tempers have calmed down. Remember, this is something that was affecting you, even though you couldn't see it. Tempers have calmed down, but at the same time, battle lines have been drawn further. But I do also like the fact that this implies that you're not on either side of those battle lines. You know, it's like you lot crack on with it, um, because you're working hard for and cutting out their influence, which does mean that you have lost access to something that is behind one or the other of those battle lines. But since you're not willing to cross them, and I can't say as I blame you, then you're going to have to set out for different plans. There's certainly some options that you will be abandoning and then finding hope in another one. This is the 7 to the 8 of Cups. Now, you can say with the 8 of Cups that it is someone abandoning a dream, but bear in mind that they've stacked all those cups up really nicely and can come back to them later. But I also like to think of it sometimes as it's not that they're necessarily leaving something, it's that they are going to something else. And that's the feel I get here, especially with that little white rose that's being hit by the moonlight. Going from the 7 to the 8 is, yes, you're abandoning certain ones of the options because you've already chosen one of the options, and therefore the other options have been abandoned. I like that. Then, slow and steady process. Another 3 of Wands. So through all of these piles, we have that repeated 3 of Wands coming back. Setting plans. I mean, bear in mind, this whole period started with some plans that you had already set into motion, their ships coming in, but you need to keep sending ships out during all of this stuff, especially if you are trying to replace something that's stuck behind some arguments, battle lines, and that you are being delayed by that argument, by that conflict that's really not actually got a great deal to do with you, but it is affecting you or affecting what you're trying to achieve, what you're trying to do. But there is some cards again, and 2 to the 3 of Cups. So this, whatever you are working on, is increasing both in healing potential and financial viability, is what I'm getting here. And things are getting more and more abundant, causing you to level up again, but fortunately, level up slowly. You're going to have the time and space to deal with all this, but you are going to be rebirthing yourself yet again, because 9s for me are very much a symbol of rebirth. And this, with it being 9 of Pentacles, yes, you're on your own. Yes, you're receiving wisdom from the little bird on her hand, but also that 9 energy is going, right, I am now going to redefine myself. I am now going to evolve again. So where your plans are at the minute, that's only like up until the end of stage 2 or the end of stage 3 or phase 3 or whatever you want to call it. It's not the final product. Now, I'd like to say that in a way, there isn't a final product, because that final state, it's like the horizon. It's always receding from you. You never quite get there. Now, alternate futures or potential futures. So, okay, whatever this battle in the background seems to be featuring again and again. Whatever it is, do your best to not get involved. Remember what this magnetism card said: don't follow the herd. Because there is an external source of stress and anxiety. 9 of Swords here. But I like this particular 9 of Swords because it's almost like the this is a mage who is putting the swords within that magical circle of candles to sacrifice them, to say, right, that's it. we're giving up on this now. We are sacrificing this to the gods or whatever, on using this for the fuel for something better, something more surgically targeted, something more insightful. It's almost like that you are able to transmit, the Knight of Swords, surgically targeting as well, a greater clarity that you are able to understand. You pass that message along, but that in and of itself is work. And I think maybe there is, by you doing this work, whatever it is, you are sending a message, and that work turns into a point where the work and the message are pretty much the same thing, but that's an evolution that will take form, because you are presenting that quite victoriously to the world with surgical precision. So we've got Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, presenting that idea, nurturing that idea, with the strength to carry it forward. Two of Cups here. So you are again, there's that presenting of the cup, especially in this particular cup while they are sharing it. Well, it was one or the others of them in the first place. This is the Two of Cups card in this particular deck, but there's only the one cup on it because they are both drinking from it. So one of them picked it up to share. You know what I mean? So someone was the initiator there. And then we have Queen of Swords. So there's that wisdom aspect. There's that taming with this particular Queen of Swords. There's that taming of extraneous outside influences. Basically, yeah, you might be a giant goose, but no, you're not rampaging through my nice shop. Thank you very much. And you're not going to destroy the village, and you're not going to eat the villagers. You will sit there. We will feed you, but you're going to get muzzled. And then we've got this Queen to the King of Swords here. Now I'm going to refer to that little book again, because the way it's almost like a champion has been chosen here. That's one way I could look at it. Yeah, like a champion has been chosen. Let's see what it says for swords. Queen to the king is confronting your demons. That's interesting, isn't it? So this message that you are creating is just as much a message for you as it is for the general world that you are exposing it to. I actually really like that, because I want to say that you do have support around you. That support is in a changing nature, but there is somebody very, very grounded who is doing what they can to support you. However, things do keep changing around them, and I think their opinion is changing, but they're as committed as you are. Four of Wands here. And then we have the 8 to the 9 of coins, which is pretty much a sort of a, I don't want to say declaring independence. I mean, if you look at the card, if I remember correctly, that's a suffragette saying allow women to vote. Thank you very much. So there is that uphill climb, but there's also that really positive promoting equality, promoting equal rights, promoting not underestimating anybody. So there's a good thing there. So there's a faith there. And although you wouldn't think this is a sun card, but this is the sun card. So there's a lot of goodwill coming towards you here. So you may have been worrying that is another sun card. Is what you are doing, does it really have the value, or are you just working for a fake happiness? Will it bring you happiness? So Sun and Ten of Cups here. Have you made an unwise decision by taking the wrong option? Well, looking at all this, if you've got this far into the reading and what I have been saying to you, you've been sat there going, yeah, that makes sense. Then no, you haven't made the wrong decision. Because I really like this Sun and Ten of Cups in the hopes and fears pile. Because this definitely, both of those are linking with a lot of other cards. Whereas this King of Swords, it's only really linking, I think there was one other King of Swords in here. There's that Queen to King there, isn't there? But this is only linking to decisions that you've already taken. So, hey, you're committed on this path. Why are you worried about it? But yeah, it is a lot of work. And why shouldn't it be? Because you want it. You want it to be. You really do want it to be. Final outcome. This isn't too bad for, I thought I'd be a lot longer than this. Right. Ace of Pentacles. So, there you go. There's that new beginning energy. But more importantly, there's that new beginning energy with a little bit of coin. Where I think you have been... Oh, this is interesting. Seven of Swords. Now, that can be theft. It can be unearthing secrets. It can also be building a structure. And in this particular card, it's taking the sharp implements away so that those wolves who are fast asleep by the campfire don't hurt themselves. And that's the feeling that I'm getting from it right here. It's almost like you are removing some form of danger out of a situation, where you are receiving appropriate guidance, and that guidance may be due to a previous loss. I mean, there's what I have noticed is there's been no Tower cards apart from here, which has started the entire current situation. We've got the Tower going to the Star, which to me is a big signal for things to start moving. We have Judgment. That transformation does keep going on with the Empress, and also an end to people working at cross purposes to you, a sort of an end to the torment, but by putting a matter finally to rest. This is the 9 to the 10 of Swords. Now, I don't think that's what the book says. Oh no, wrong book. No, that's the right book. Let's see what it says. 9 to the 10 of Swords. Yeah, no, it does. The end of pain. So it's like putting a final matter to rest, that whatever this earlier loss that may have even motivated part of this, what you're wanting to do. And I will say that that's only a minor contributor to, the motivation. It's going to bring good stuff. And we finish with the Judgment still carrying on, that opening the doorway. There is your, what was it? The door to value. There we have it, there on that Judgment card. Presided over by the Empress and her bountiful harvest. So, whatever it is that you're working towards at the minute, and you're a little bit skint, and you're thinking, this isn't really taking off, this isn't providing me with what I am wanting to get out of it, stick with it, Taurus. Don't let your Cancer Moon side make you want to draw back and go, yeah, I'm not doing this anyway. And don't let the Cancer Rising side, if you're the Cancer Rising, well, I mean, it's the same story in a way, just a little bit less, but don't let how the situation doesn't appear to be panning out right now encourage you to bring up all your defenses. Now, I knew there was something else. There's one last card that I have not mentioned. But what I feel from a lot of this is that This direction that you have set yourself on, that you have chosen, that you want to, is fairly overwhelming. We have Shatael. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. Shatael. Yeah, Shatael. Now, this is, I like to read this one out because it's like Material, the Angel of Rain, but it's more subtle than that, but just as overwhelming. If you know your astrology, it's very 12th house. So, words fail, the wind dies, the earth comes to a rest. Shatael descends in stillness. New forms for all things emerge, touched by the elusive fingers of the angel Shatael. Space fills with silence and void gets new meaning. We are held still by the grip of its presence. Fear is useless, as its presence is almost always brief. Silence slides over your ears, enveloping your awareness completely, as if you've closed your eyes. Take a moment. Take the silence within you and use it to still the tremors of your soul. Shatael wills it. So, if your Cancer side is wittering and worrying about the, oh my God, how are we going to pay the bills and all of that aspect, I mean, obviously you have to balance the 3D world needs with what you are trying to create. But new forms of things emerge. With Material, there is just a power that you are swept over. Here, you are having a creative power sweep over. And that's what I really like about that card. So remember, that doorway to value is going to open up. So if that means anything to you, Taurus Sun, Cancer Moon and Rising, or Moon or Rising, I should say, then please do comment down below. And if it is some form of business project, hey, put it in the comments below. Put an advert in, a link to your website, whatever, because it looks to me like you're actually doing a good thing. So one last reminder, like, share, subscribe, contact me for a personal reading if you want, and otherwise, see you later. Cheers.